It is AEW Dynasty. It is not the awesome 80s drama. It is what is now going to be a big pay-per-view because this is where Strickland won the title last year. So let me ask you this. What do you think is going to happen this year? Get your comments in because we're going to go through the entire card and some possible surprises right here. This is the West Coast Pop channel. This is Zach, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. If you caught the show yesterday with Knock, we talked about a lot of AEW people in WWE, but a premium live event like Dynasty is how you build new names to AEW. I'm excited for this. Right behind me, you see the men's own Hart bracket. We have the women's announced last night as well, and that's going to play into some predictions that we have going on for AEW Dynasty. Let's get into this. The first thing we got to talk about when we talk about AEW Dynasty is what it's leading up to, and that is all in Texas. Yes, right behind me, you can see that this leads to a big giant title and a final matchup at the next pay-per-view. But this big giant title for men and women lead to a title match at All in Texas. Now, they made a big deal out of this. It is an official big week. They are airing All in Texas a little early because of Saturday night's main event on Peacock. I don't think they need to do that, but that's what they're doing. But that's what it builds up to. You got Dynamite Collision. You got StarCast on Friday and Saturday, and then you have ROH on Friday. Death before Dishonor, their annual event. I guess we're going with the Game of Thrones thing again. All right. But then All in Texas Saturday at 2 p.m. This is going to be big. This is going to be one of the biggest events of the year. The turnout is already great. I'm excited to where it leads, and this weekend, Dynasty leads to that. So let's run down the card and get your comments in for AEW Dynasty. I'm sure that there are going to be more matches announced for the buy-in. If you got those matches and you're watching this not live, let us know your picks for that in the comments, because I'd love to go back and forth with you in the comments and let you know my picks once those matches are announced. But this airs Thursday of the week of Dynasty, the night after AEW Dynamite. But this right here, the AEW International Championship three-way match, if you want to kick off a pay-per-view and just have it get going with some heat, this is the match you start off with. Ricochet and Speedball Bailey. I guess the mic name isn't there anymore, but that's fine. Taking on the champion, Kenny Omega. This is going to be a very fun match. Knock and I have seen Speedball Mike Bailey enough live and in TNA to know how great he is. Everyone knows how great Kenny Omega is, and we are also very familiar with how great Ricochet can be as well. Maybe not on the mic, but I know some of you like what he's doing. This match is going to be so good. So good. We have 8 matches on the card in total, and this is one of those matches that I think you just give a bunch of time to. Or maybe it's just a super fast match within like 10 minutes. Either way, it's going to showcase what AEW is all about. And I'm very excited for this match. My prediction on this match is simple, though. Kenny Omega is going to retain, and then we're going back to All In, because at All In, I think this is where you do a unification match between Kenny and Takeshita. Like, this is where you do it. There have been rumors of the 2 belts being unified, and I think that's where you do it. And that is why my prediction is Kenny Omega, especially since he hasn't been gone that long. He had a great match at Revolution that we saw live. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on the International Championship. All right, next matchup right here, the TNT Championship. This title has not meant as much as it has before. Right now, Kenny Omega seems to be more of a champion than the TNT Championship was, but the TNT Champion used to be the Intercontinental Champion of AEW. Daniel Garcia, who in my opinion has been floundering ever since they gave him the dance. You don't Alex Wright someone. But they did. But anyways, Daniel Garcia, who still gets over here and there, is facing someone who still gets over here and there, who needs a little something. I don't think he needs a title. He needs something else. It's Adam Cole, baby. I think Daniel Garcia keeps this. I think this is a kind of title change you can have at the next pay-per-view in Arizona. Daniel Garcia still needs a little more heat with this. He's just kind of held the title. He says good matches here and there, but again, is what it is. I'm going to say Daniel Garcia retains. Adam Cole finds something else leading into All In. That's going to be where we kind of get the Adam Cole we want back, because it takes a good feud for Adam Cole to get really hot on the mic again. So be prepared for that. I hope it's not with his teammates. I hope it's not a feud and someone turns on him or he turns on them, because I don't want to see him versus Roddy, and I don't want to see him versus Kyle O'Reilly. I want to see Adam Cole feud with someone like old school ROH or NXT Adam Cole feuds. Let me know your thoughts on that. This should be a fine match. I'm really not looking forward to this match. I don't think it's going to be terrible. It's just very boring to me. And look, Adam Cole, boring. That hurts to say. It just hurts. All right, next matchup, number 3 out of 8. This match is very interesting. Toni Storm, who just finished her trilogy with Mariah May at Revolution in a bloody match against an undefeated, but only here for a little bit of time so far, Bayne. She's just killing it. She's got Penelope Ford by her side. There's a lot of things in play here. Again, the brackets behind me show a winner goes into a feud, a championship match at All In against the champion, the AEW Women's Champion. Now, what's the bigger draw for a huge stadium show? A new independent star that's just signed but still really good in Bayne? Or is the huge draw someone you can create an awesome video package with, a name from AEW, timeless Toni Storm? I think Toni Storm retains here. Something might happen, but this could be shock of the night if Bayne takes the championship off of Toni Storm. I don't see it happening. I think it's too soon for Bayne, especially when you have other people that have been there in the company. You got Willow, you got Statlander, and you got Mercedes, who I think should take this title off of Toni Storm before Bayne. This is a decent feud. I like it. But I think there's something else in play here, and I think it has to do with the Owen Hart tournament and the winner of that, which we will talk about. So let me know your thoughts on that. Timeless Toni Storm with the win, in my opinion. Penelope Ford with the little shenanigans here and there. And I think that's it. I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward match, which is good. All right, next up, the Hurt Syndicate versus Big Bill and Bryan Keith. This just got announced last night. It's too soon for the Hurt Syndicate to lose the titles, especially to 2 Jericho lackeys. Anyone who's around Jericho is therefore a lackey. Big Bill and Bryan Keith, they've been doing decent work with the Learning Tree program, but the point is with the Learning Tree program is the turning on Chris Jericho. That's what we're waiting for with one or both of these individuals. They've been teasing it with Big Bill, but I don't see them taking the titles here. The Hurt Syndicate will retain. And there's 2 options I'm thinking of for this one. Maybe one of them does get a little heat with Chris Jericho, and he, who has not been announced yet for a match, could cost them the victory here. Maybe he's a little jealous because they might win gold. Maybe he accidentally does it, and Big Bill or Bryan Keith get really pissed off at Chris Jericho, and then we start to see that faction fraction. Surprised I said that tongue twister without twisting my tongue. But maybe that's what's going to happen here. Chris Jericho will start his feud with either Big Bill or Bryan Keith, and then we can move on from this Learning Tree experiment once and for all. And the other option I have, which I think might be true because they did focus on a sign about them last night on Dynamite, the Young Bucks come back after the match and challenge the Hurt Syndicate at one of their best pay-per-views in Arizona. So I think that's how it's going to happen. I think Jericho costs Big Bill and Bryan Keith the match, and then at the very end, waiting up for the Hurt Syndicate on the ramp is going to be the Young Bucks, and we do that at the next pay-per-view, or we do a nice long build, or add another tag team in there, and we have that match at All In Texas. This should be good, though. Hurt Syndicate, man. When Knock and I saw them at Revolution, it was so cool seeing everyone in the Staples Center here in LA, just sing their theme song, and it was just really cool. Excited for everything the Hurt Syndicate does. Here's where we're going to take a look at the Women's Owen Hart Tournament brackets. Jamie Hayter, Billy Starks, Thunder Rosa, Chris Statlander on one side. Who do you have on that one side? And then on the other side, Julie Hart, Mercedes Moné, Harley Cameron, and Athena. Who do you have on that side? We got feuds that can start for the next 2 pay-per-views. But again, the final will be a Double or Nothing in Arizona. But the big main event from the winner at Double or Nothing will face whoever the champion is at that time, Toni Storm or Megan Bayne. Again, the bigger name and the bigger draw is Toni Storm. Who is going to be the bigger draw to face Toni Storm? If you are trying to sell out one of your biggest shows ever right here in the U.S. and Texas, that name has to be Mercedes Moné. Julia Hart, great to have her back, and I think it'll be a nice match against Mercedes Moné. Don't let this match go too long. This match should not be long. I know there's some issues with her last match at Revolution. They caused the match to go a bit longer, but that match dragged for a bit. But if these two work, this will be a great showing for Julia Hart. Mercedes knows how to work. Mercedes knows how to work with people, and this can build Julia Hart, but then also propel her, because then who will she face next? Probably Athena. That's a big match. That's a big match that you can put on the episode of Dynamite that breaks the record of WCW Monday Nitro. You see, it all builds, and then you can build into who she will face, either Athena or Mercedes, at Double or Nothing, and then build your program with Toni Storm. See how it all just connects? Let me know your thoughts on this. It's a lot of connecting, so connect everything in the comments and let me know. All right, Mercedes we got for the win on this. Here we go. The AEW World Trios Championship. I'm not excited about this match. I have to be honest. I'm really not excited about this match at all. I don't mean to be a Zacky Downer, but I honestly think rated FTR will win it, even though there is tension with Dax. So I think everyone's going to think that Dax will cost him the championship and he'll walk off, and that's that. AEW likes to do things kind of weird, and I think this is going to be one of those indications where they do things kind of weird, and they hold the titles, and the Dax walk-off will cost them the titles at Double or Nothing. Cope said in the last pay-per-view junket that they did, or maybe 2 ago, that he wanted to build up young guys, but he also mentioned he wanted to win the Trios Championship with FTR. This is the time to do it, and then you can do your build-up with, if you want to split up FTR, cool. I don't see the point in ever doing that, but you can do that. I'm going with rated FTR on here, and just let's end the Death Rider experiment too. It sucks. I hate the Death Riders. Everything about the Death Riders. I'm sure I'll bitch about it more when we get to the main event. Ugh, I'm ready to move on. So let's move on. All right, here is the men's bracket for the Owen Hart Tournament. Will Ospreay, Kevin Knight, Brody King, Takeshita on the one side, Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher, Hangman Adam Page, and a wild card. Who could the wild card be? We'll talk about that in a bit. The match we're getting is the one on the upper left right there. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. This was made official on Dynamite last night. A new signing of Kevin Knight. Will Ospreay has to win this, in my opinion. I don't really see a big point in Kevin Knight facing either Brody King or Takeshita. There's really no big build there, especially going into a main event and trying to build towards another main event at All In. Will Ospreay will definitely take this, but this will be a really great match too. Kevin Knight should be a fun signing, hopefully. So many signings in both companies right now. It's just it is what it is. That's fine. Will Ospreay, though, this is a nice entrance because we, like Knox said on the show last night, we're getting rid of the Darby Allin thing, right? He's climbing a mountain. It's going to take too long for him to dethrone Moxley, which was the original story. And you can't drag out the Death Rider storyline that long. So why not have this opportunity to be the one for Will Ospreay to be your AEW flag bearer, to beat the Death Riders, take the belt off Jon Moxley, because I guess that's a little hint at my prediction for the main event. But that's what we're going to build towards, in my opinion. And here we are. We're at the main event right now. Jon Moxley. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think Jon Moxley is a channel-changing character. I think he's boring. I never liked him with the Shield or in WWE. I thought he was great when he entered AEW and when he was on the independents before that. Now, I don't even care about like the spikes and stuff like that. I'm an ECW fan. I thought it was pretty cool. He's boring, though. Jon Moxley's a very boring character. The Death Riders is one of the most boring factions I've ever watched on TV. Swerve Strickland is a very good champion. I would love to see Swerve Strickland take the belt off Moxley here. But I don't know. Is that the build? Is that the build to All In Texas? I guess that's my big question here, because he is my pick to be the wild card against Hangman Adam Page. They kind of reconciled last night, on Dynamite, and he could have a great match, obviously, with Hangman Adam Page. Even if he loses, that's a big bill, because you throw that match again on the Dynamite that beats Nitro. So then you'd have Mercedes versus Athena, and then Hangman versus Swerve. That's a big buildup for the AEW Dynamite that beats the amount of episodes of WCW Monday Nitro. What do you think? Huh? I think that's where Swerve tries to get back into the title picture. I think they're trying to keep the belt on Moxley. I don't think Tony Khan or anyone in AEW wants to say that the storyline isn't as good as this. They think it's like really good for some reason. I think it's one of the worst storylines with the worst factions with one of the worst leaders. I would love it to end. I would love Swerve to take the title off of him and this be it, but I don't think it is. And I think they're going to save the dethroning of Jon Moxley for All In Texas, and it's going to be Will Ospreay, which everyone loves. Everyone loves everything about him, the theme songs, everything like that. I think that's where you do it, and you find something else for Swerve in the meantime. There are plenty of people to find something with Swerve for, because he can work with anyone. So let me know your thoughts on your picks for this, especially the main event. Again, I don't think Swerve is going to win the main event based on these brackets going into All In. It's just, unless you have Hangman win this and then you face Swerve. But either way, no matter what, by All In or after All In, the Death Riders and the Jon Moxley crap needs to end. It needs to stop. It needs to cease. And we need to move on, because it's getting so much attention in AEW, and it shouldn't. There are so many other better storylines out there. The build of Kyle Fletcher. You have Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega just being greats. You have Timeless Tony Storm and Megan Bayne, which is getting a good amount of screen time. But now you have Willow dragged into this, and Willow could be doing some better stuff too. Death Riders need to be stopped. That's just my opinion, and those are my picks for AEW Dynasty 2025. Watch it this Sunday, April 6th, or if you're in Philadelphia, there are still tickets available, so you definitely want to check it out live. Again, check out the footage on our channel. Knock and I went to see Revolution live here in LA, and it was fantastic. It was a great show. So as much as I bitch about this Death Rider storyline, how much I despise Jon Moxley, especially that cheap-ass haircut that he has, AEW puts on one hell of a show. So check it out and make sure to comment, hit like, subscribe, all that good shit. And we'll catch you on the next stream. My name is Zach for the West Coast Podcast. Have a great weekend and be excellent to each other. Check you later.